gone through, I feel like as a person, you grow and you kind of harden, and those situations that affected you before don't affect you anymore. So it kind of became, it was more dire as she was figuring out things, how she was going to, everything got a little more serious. As she got more information, she's like, okay, this is a do or die situation. This isn't just attacking me, this is the rest of the world. And as things got more serious and she had experienced more things and gotten out of situations, I felt like we wanted to see a shift of her strength and confidence in herself increasing, because in the beginning she really didn't know what she was capable of. And it wasn't something that I think that we like discussed at the beginning and said, we want to see this happen at this point. It was just kind of like as the journey of as the character went on, what she had gone through and what I had experienced, that it was just a natural shift. We didn't pick where we wanted it to happen and at what moment. It was just kind of like, well, this is where she changes, and it kind of just happened like life. So but that was such a fun game to work on and a really great experience. And I remember I would do sessions like 4 or 5 hours at a time, and after we finished the session I was like, that was 4 hours? It felt like 15 minutes, because I would just get lost in the story and lost in that world. And I would be very tired after I finished, and I never understood why. I was like, well, you have been running and fighting and dealing with very giant, adorable bears that are angry and want to kill you. I get it. I get why you might be tired. Any other questions? Yes.
Talking about the...
Oh, hold on. Yeah. Yes.
How was your experience working on Borderlands?
So cool.
The collection.
That was a dream. I worked on that for just like a couple of small characters that like showed up in the town, and then they had called back and said, we want you to read for this character that Chris Sabat was like, I think you'd be perfect for. And he was like, we had another voice actress play her, but they want to go in a different direction. They want her to be younger and a little quirkier. And so when I came in, they gave me all the echo logs to record, and they gave me like a brief skeleton of what they wanted me to say, and they said, just ad-lib. And I was like, okay. And that's a very dangerous thing to say to an actor who has done improv before, because when you say just ad-lib, they're like, oh, I'm not going to ask for parameters. I'm just going to go, and then you can cut me back. And so it was crazy, because I just went and ad-libbed, and they said, perfect, moving on. I was like, wait, you're not going to edit it? You're not going to like tell me to do it again and like rein it in and not be so crazy? And they're like, no, we like the crazy. And so then as it happened, she got crazier and crazier as the session went on. Do what?
This is Borderlands.
True, yeah. So it was awesome. The writing was really fun. Anthony was really, really supportive. It was just really cool. I was a bridesmaid in a wedding while I was working on the game. And so I would have to do sessions and then go to wedding functions right after. And I would still be in engage mode. And I was like, let's blow this wedding up, let's do this. And the wedding planner was like, I'm so gonna kill you. Can you just like tone it down? I was like, I'm sorry, I'm working on a video game. And all the guys were like, all the groomsmen were like, what game, what game? And I was like, I can't tell you because I'll lose the job. And I couldn't talk about the game even when the game was announced, because I was the DLC character. So buses are going by with Borderlands logos and buy the game on this day. And it was terrible, because I'm just taking pictures of these bus wraps and these billboards, and people are like, oh, are you in Borderlands? I'm like, no, I just have an extensive bus wrap and billboard collection. Don't we all? Like, I love a billboard, I take a picture. It was, so yeah, it was really a great experience. Any other questions? Let me see. Yes.
How did you get cast for Brotherhood?
Brotherhood, Mike McFarland just called and said, I'd like you to come in and try reading for Alicia. Awesome, thank you. I'd like you to come in and try reading for Alicia, because the actress who played her in the original series is no longer a child, and her voice is now deeper than yours. So I came in, I listened to what she did, and then I watched the animation, and I just like did a test audition, and then they sent the test audition to the producers, and then I got called back in to do the rest of it, which I was really excited, because I'd heard amazing things about Borderlands. But I had started working at Funimation after Borderlands, FMA. So I had already, FMA had already been produced before I started working there. And so when Brotherhood came along, I was like, well, this is awesome. Now I get to work on this show, and I'd seen it, and I really loved it, and I thought the cast was amazing. And so when we kind of got to reimagine it, it was really fun to work on.
Was that the same thing when you went in casting for like Some Wars, Psychopaths, and Trigun Borderlands?
Trigun Borderlands
Badlands.
is the same.
Badlands.
Yeah,
Badlands.
that was
Badlands.
that one I got to. Badlands, I did get called in as well to do that one. And Psychopath, since I'd already done the show, I auditioned for the show. They cast me as a character, like a random high school student that was like a guest star in one of the episodes. And then it happened that she came back later in the season, and then I got to do that one.
And I was talking about for the movie.
Yeah, well, because I'd already played that character previously, they just called me back in to do it again.
And how was it for Summer Wars?
Summer Wars, I believe I auditioned for that one, and then Mike slotted me in.
He told me about it, so I bought it, and I've seen it already like
Oh,
25,
yeah,
25
that's
times
amazing.
over the last year. I've been watching like 25 times.
Cool. Well, that's awesome. I think we do one more question. And did you have a question?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
For the Dino Punk game
Yeah.
that you were in, was Bryce Komida again? Or is it someone else?
Was he what?
Komida, the white hair.
I don't know. I know Bryce played my brother in the game, but I don't know who he played. I don't know if he played that other character.
Because he played Komida in Dino Punk too, but I'm not sure he played him.
He probably did then. If he's played it before, then he probably did. I don't know. We never get to hear. It's like, and since sometimes we all get to do crazy voices and different ones, we're like, I don't know who you are. Is that you? Sounds like you, maybe. But yeah. Well, I think
You got it?
I could maybe do one more question. Maybe there's one more question. Yes. Yeah. It was amazing. He's so cool. I auditioned for him, and I thought he was a really, really nice guy. And then I kind of stalked him online, because I was like, well, if I'm working with this guy, I want to figure out things about him. And I realized we have the exact same birthday, same day, same year, same everything. And I found out we have the same middle name, just spelled differently. And then when we met and we were talking, we found out we had a lot of other things in common. And I was like, are we the same person? Like, what is happening? But it was such a great experience because he was directing the movie. And I was starring with him. I didn't know how that was going to work, of like, well, when he leaves to go like watch stuff, am I just going to have to like sit in my spot? Is this going to be awkward? But it wasn't at all. I mean, he would be like, come with me, we're going, and he like really had me involved in the process. I never felt left out, and that's a really hard job to do when you're the lead in a movie and you're directing the movie and you're directing it for the first time. I was so impressed with how he handled everything. He really allowed every actor to have a lot of freedom. He trusted all of us. He made it like a great big family. And that's really up to the director to determine the tone of how a set's going to be. And it was a very supportive environment. With such a crazy movie like that, you would think that we were all like party animals and like, oh yeah, we're doing like all crazy things. We were not. I told him up front, I was like, I've really never been to like a party like this. I don't know what this is like. I've never done any of these things. He's like, me neither. I was like, oh great. So we like went to the mall and hung out with Drew, and we would go to the Cheesecake Factory and hang out at Target. I mean, we're like the weirdest kids ever. But yeah, it was amazing. It was such a fun time. He's genuinely a really, really, really good guy. So I'm really excited, and I'm really proud to see all the success he's having, because, you know, it's great when it happens to anybody that you've worked with, but when they're like not really a nice person, it's kind of like, well, that's awesome. But when it is a nice person, you're like, yes, more for them. They're great people. He loves his bands. He's so talented. He was amazing to work with. So, and the film was a blast. Not what I would normally do, and not the kind of comedy I'm used to, but he really said, you know, once I saw your audition, I knew you were the girl for the movie, and I was so glad that you did it. And I had a blast doing it, so thank you. And that's time. Okay. I am going to go pick up my bag at the airport, but then I will be at the table signing stuff, and I'll have prints, so if you want to come hang out and ask questions then, I would love to see you. And I'm also doing a panel with Erica tomorrow. It's Sailor Moon related at 12:30. So if you want to come back, I will see you then. Thank you guys so much for coming and asking me cool questions.